Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We strike hard and fade away into the night.
For over 40 years now, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles have been kicking shell and taking names while telling stories about brotherhood, honor, respect, integrity, being an outsider, growing up, and found family. The majority of these stories have been told on the small screen. With a total of 6 TV shows, the story of the Turtles is something that has now become generational. And now, with the release of the second season of Tales of the TMNT, we're going to do a deep dive into each TMNT series, ranking them in order to find out which one is the definitive TMNT series. Now, I have to preference this up front by saying that I don't think there is a bad TMNT series, and I love all these shows. Well, except one, but we'll get to that. So really, this just comes down to personal preference. Which shows do I like better? And which ones do I think come closest to being the definitive version of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? There have also been a ton of TMNT ranking videos made by great channels out there, and I recommend you check those out as well. But for now, I hope you stick around for my ranking. Oh, and spoilers for all these shows. I'm going to be discussing episodes and storylines in great detail for each show. So, you've been warned. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, I'm going to approach talking about this series in a more neutral way. People have bagged on this series since it came out, and personally I don't like dragging other people's work through the mud. So I'm going to do my best to highlight some things I think the show did well, but if there are some things the show fumbled on, and trust me, there are a lot, I will point them out. The name The Next Mutation began development as a 4th film in the TMNT film franchise. Though when TMNT 3 failed, it was scrapped and the name was repurposed for this series. The title does not fit this series, as in the planned 4th film, the Turtles were set to go through another mutation, as the mutagen in their blood became unstable. We would see different versions of this in the final 2 seasons of the 1987 series, and in the 4th season of the 2003 series, where Donatello mutates again. None of that happens in The Next Mutation, so unfortunately right off the bat, the series can't make proper use of its title. The series is also infamous for the introduction of a 5th mutant ninja turtle, Venus de Milo. Venus, as it turns out, was in the glass bowl with the other turtles, and was mutated alongside them, but was swept away in the sewer before Splinter arrived. She was found by martial arts master Chung-E and taken to China. Eventually, due to the events of the pilot, she comes to New York and joins the Turtles in their fight against evil. She is a shinobi, which is just another word for ninja, but in the world of The Next Mutation, a shinobi is some kind of mystic, I guess.
This is the chi energy that flows through the universe.
Extra shinobiful! I want to try it.
And you can. If you concentrate, you can conjure your own magical mist.
With her powers, she can do anything. Except when she can't. What about Venus as a character? I think she's fine. While they don't do much to distinguish her from the others, there are times where she is given some personality, particularly in the episodes where her and Donatello argue over the pros and cons of magic versus technology. Kind of reminded me of a similar argument between Iron Man and Thor in Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, though it was done better there.
Nice! You should form your own team, the Crazy Magic People.
However, I do think that they play up the whole foreigner who doesn't understand Western slang trope a bit too much. I mean, they even have a compilation of it in the series finale.
Go!
That's bull, Venus.
I could go another zap.
That's lap.
We should return to your home in the toilet.
You mean sewer?
Raph, look! The Schnooks!
That's crooks, not snooks.
Come back with me to the toilet.
That's sewer. How many times we gotta tell you? It's not a toilet, it's a sewer.
With that being said, Venus did cause problems outside of the show and not just with the fans. Many long-time TMNT fans are very well aware of how Venus contributed to the growing divide between the two co-creators of the TMNT franchise, Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. When approached with the idea, Eastman liked it and thought trying something new like this would help keep the brand alive. However, Laird was against it from day one, as he wanted to stick to the rules that he and Eastman established when they began this adventure with the Turtles.
I said, yeah, well, it's not what we'd originally envisioned, but I could see that, and I think it would be great. It was the biggest disagreement we'd ever had on the management of the Turtles and what to do with the Turtles. He said, look, I don't want anything to do with it, but you oversee it, and we kind of stepped away.
There had been the suggestion from fans, why don't you have a fifth turtle? But we both always expressed the opinion that we thought it was a stupid idea. So when the time came that Kevin was for it, it seemed like, in some ways, a betrayal of an idea that we had both shared.
Personally, I do like that they attempted to change up the formula and take risks with the property. Did those risks pay off? Not really, but I do appreciate the effort. Both Eastman and Laird were already growing apart at this time, but this was definitely one of the final nails that led to their breakup, which would last for almost 2 decades. Laird would helm the franchise through the 2000s, being at the forefront of the 2003 series, 2007 film, and the comics published at the time. But he would also remain very bitter about Venus and the damage she inadvertently caused for years. So much so that you couldn't even joke about her without pissing him off. Though, following Viacom's purchase of the franchise in 2009, Laird would leave the franchise and the original rule of no fifth turtle would leave with him, after which Eastman was asked to return to consult on the 2012 series, the films, and the IDW comics, which very much reignited his love for the franchise. It was in these IDW comics that the idea of having a female Ninja Turtle was re-explored with the character of Jennika, to much more successful results, leading to the creators of those comics bringing back the OG female turtle herself in a much cooler fashion. Only took 20 plus years. This era of TMNT became one of healing, with both Eastman and Laird repairing their relationship and even creating new stories for these brothers.
We're not brothers.
Okay. I guess it's time to address the elephant in the room. One of the reasons many fans don't like Venus is because of how a lot of characters in the show talk to her or about her.
Sup, sweet thing? What you got underneath that shell?
Mace!
Oh, isn't she cute?
Oh, so lovely. And yet, so lethal?
It's particularly bad when it's the Turtles.
A girl turtle?
A girl turtle! Oh, thank you! Dreams do come true. Yeah!
You spare me, and I'll lead you to her. She's quite a trophy.
How do I know you're not just trying?
Though it's mostly Michelangelo.
You're a full-fledged mutant hottie.
Do not call me mutant or hottie.
I think I'm in love.
And it's kind of annoying that this trait of Mikey always being horny and hitting on the female lead has persisted to the most recent live-action incarnations.
If it wasn't already obvious with that girl. Dibs. Oh, she's so hot I can feel my shell tightening.
We can hear you.
You may be wondering, doesn't this border on incest? The Turtles are brothers, so isn't she their sister? So wouldn't that mean that Mikey is constantly hitting on his sister? Well, the thing is, the writers thought of that, so they made it so that the Turtles are not brothers in this version, so that when one of them would make a comment about Venus, mainly Mikey, it wouldn't be that they're hitting on their sister.
We're not brothers.
Brotherhood and family are some of the core themes of TMNT, even going back to the first issue of the Mirage comics. So it's kind of a disservice that the writers of the show did to themselves by removing it. So since they're not brothers here, I guess they're just roommates who have to put up with each other's company. This version of Leo is particularly known for hitting on Venus, his potential sister, but that isn't exactly the case. Like I said, that's more Mikey than Leo. It did seem based on the first stretch of episodes that Leo might have a crush on her.
So I am not your sister?
No. You and I are just mutant boy and mutant girl. No relation.
But that's not something that continues past that. No, Leo's thing in this series is being an arsehole to everyone.
I can't concentrate if you're gonna keep blabbing and blowing stuff up! Raphael's the most inconsiderate, self-absorbed, me guy I know. Gee, this is lame, I can't do it! Raphael drives me bananas! Hey, wait up! I'm the leader here. Come on, you guys. Listen.
Somebody needs to chill out.
Sometimes you guys are a real drag. This isn't over.
And you're always whining. Poor me. Nobody understands me.
Raph's characterization is kind of here. Though, like Leo, they turn up his assholeness to 11.
Don't you ever walk out on me when I'm talking to you. No one respects you. We just let you stick around because we feel sorry for you.
In fact, all of the turtles are particularly rude in this incarnation. I think Venus is the only one who's not a complete asshole. In most incarnations, Raphael is a fierce protector, especially around humans. He does have his issues with them, and often becomes so angry with them that he gives up protecting them.
The city's at war. Don't you feel just a little bit responsible? No, it's not our deal. It is.
Raphael, doing the right thing is its own reward.
Yeah, but look how they treat us, Master Splinter.
We shouldn't be here, Leo. This ain't our war.
But every time that happens, his family is there to bring him back to reality, and he realizes that he was wrong, and he grows from that.
Well, I calmed down, thought about it, and realized I was being an idiot.
And perhaps now you'll see that you need humans as much as they need you, Raphael.
Oh, you bet, Master Splinter. I take back every rotten thing I said about him.
This version of Raph is content with letting humans die gruesome deaths. This is evident when the turtles have a vampire's heart, and if they give it back, she'll become more powerful and will kill as many humans as possible. Yes, it's the plot to the first Suicide Squad movie.
We gotta cut her heart out.
I must have my heart.
Raph decides that they should give the heart back, and he doesn't care if humans die.
I say we give the nasty thing back to the vampire. Vampires drink human blood. It's a human problem, not ours.
And all the other turtles actually begin to agree with him. He even brings the heart to the vampire, and the only reason he doesn't give it to her is because they said they want to kill Venus. So killing and feeding on humans is a-okay for good old Raphael, but killing Venus? Well, that's just too far. Maybe if there were some actual human supporting cast members, Raph wouldn't act this way, considering how many human characters become part of the Turtles family in other incarnations. But no, unfortunately there's no April, Casey, Cry, Irma, or Angel to be found in this show. Not even Kino. Though one thing I do really like about this version of Raph is his friendship with Michelangelo. It's not something we see often in TMNT, so it's nice to see it here. Speaking of Mikey, he is a horny bastard.
I think that turtle girl is cute in a mutant kind of way. The groovacious babe knows what's what.
I don't have my trunk, so you have to promise not to peek. Unless, of course, you can. Help yourself.
Gross, Michelangelo.
I'm sorry, that came across super creepy, okay?
But does have some good moments. Like the episode where he hosts an animal costume party / rave to raise money for endangered animals. And Donnie is probably the turtle who remained relatively unscathed by the series. The classic tech-loving, problem-solving Donnie is intact, though he is not exempt from being an arsehole, especially when it comes to Venus.
Say Venus. Is there any shinobi spell you can actually do?
The show is not without merit. I particularly want to shout out the stunt team and the stunt performers inside the turtle suits. The stunts definitely aren't on the same level as the 1990 film, but for the limited budget that they had with the show, it's pretty impressive. And they managed to pull off some great stunts in those suits. Now, we don't get great stunts all the time, but when we do get them, it's pretty great. There are also some secondary antagonists that are fun additions to the franchise. We've got Scott McNeil chewing up the scenery as mutant hunter Bone Steel.
Isn't this like a totally great party?
Leave me alone!
He's known as the voice of Wolverine in X-Men Evolution, Ace the Bat-Hound in Crypto the Superdog, but perhaps his greatest role was as the evil masked figure in Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed.
Mystery Incorporated!
He always commits to whatever party's doing, I love it. There's a vampire named Vemi, whose inclusion was a cool concept. Vampires definitely existed in TMNT before this, and after, but this was the first time that there was one who was a major adversary, and she kind of also gave Venus an arch nemesis. There's also a gorilla mob boss named Silver, who I didn't hate, didn't really like him that much either. He had a fun aesthetic, but I think he would probably fit better in something like Rise of the TMNT. I could definitely picture him hanging out with mutants like Hypno and Warren Stone. The show itself actually starts off fine. The East meets West set of episodes are actually not bad. They have some pretty good action, the turtles act competently and with urgency, and show some actual emotion in scenes.
Come quick! Something's wrong with Splinter!
What?
However, after that, it's all downhill from there. The fight scenes get worse and worse, with constant sound effects.
Look out! Yeah! I told you to look out! Leapfrog! Headbutt!
Boom! Cat changes stripes! Merry Mutant Christmas!
Hey, yo, move.
Mikey.
Duh.
Too much?
The turtles act like morons who can't be competent for a second, and you never really get any sort of emotion out of them. Though these turtles did receive some redemption when they crossed over with Power Rangers in space. Everything about these turtles is different with the exception of the suits. Their voice actors, the actors inside the suits, their stunts, their dialogue, everything has been changed. And in most cases, it's a considerable improvement. Their fight scenes are incredible in this crossover. The turtles work as a team without constantly being arseholes to each other, and the annoying sound effects are gone.
Ninja Turtles!
Makes you think, if the next Mutation was like this all the time, maybe it wouldn't have the reputation that it has, and maybe it would have got another season. The Next Mutation is a series that can go from somewhat decent and inoffensive to downright insufferable at times.
Yes! We got saliva! We got snot! That ain't a little, that's a lot.
It introduced some cool concepts, but the execution was often lackluster. I haven't even mentioned the main villains of this series yet, they're just that forgettable. This show is not fondly remembered by anyone.
I don't want to blame anybody. You know, it was certainly my decision to greenlight it. You know, you win some and you lose some.
Except Kevin Eastman, I guess?
There's been things tried that didn't necessarily work out. One in particular was, one that I particularly liked was called Turtles: The Next Mutation, which was a live-action TV series. Fans didn't like it. I did like it. Worked really hard on it, but it just didn't resonate with the fans.
Fox Kids live-action Ninja Turtle series, The Next Mutation.
I love that series.
I
worked really hard on that.
Yeah, no, it's like let's take the costume stuff from the movies and bring it into the show.
But it was, it's the first introduction to a female turtle, and we loved it.
Yeah.
And we then have since been able to bring a female turtle back into the IDW series. But I love Venus de Milo, but the series, the fans didn't like it.
Now, I said in the intro that this was the one TMNT show that I don't love, and that is true. But I don't hate it either. There were some cool concepts created for this show, but unfortunately, they weren't explored to their fullest potential. Unfortunately, this show just needed a little more turtle power.
Pizza, anybody?
Next up is the latest addition to the Turtleverse, Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Spinning off from the film TMNT Mutant Mayhem, the show is split up into 2 arcs where we see the Turtles split up and we follow their individual adventures before they reunite and face a larger threat together. Right off the bat, I think that this series did a great job exploring each turtle individually. As they were together for the entirety of Mutant Mayhem, we didn't get to see what makes each turtle stand out from each other, possibly with the exception of Leonardo. The other 3, it's mostly just told to us and not shown. It's said that Mikey is great at improvising, but we never see him use it in a fight. It's said that Raph has rage issues, but it's barely touched on. And Donnie is said to be a nerd, but it's more just a comic and anime nerd. Now, this isn't to knock Mutant Mayhem. I loved it. I saw it 4 times in theaters. But the characters it presented needed to be expanded upon, and this series does a great job at doing so. We see Mikey's improvisational skills get him out of jams and help him win fights. We see Raph acting impulsively through anger and having to think his way out of it. And we see Donnie expand his technical skills as we see him outsmart Bishop, hack systems, and invent Metalhead. Oh yeah, and Leo, he gets good development too, but come on. That's like saying the sky's blue, of course he gets good material. He's like the main character of every version of the franchise. The animation, while not being on the same level of Mutant Mayhem, is top tier, especially in the fight scenes. I do think, though, the art style takes a bit of getting used to, but once you do, you forget how different it is to the film counterpart. The presentation of each arc being a tale told by the Turtles is a neat idea, but the execution left me a bit confused. When describing each event, the other characters act like some of the events didn't happen. But then, each arc ends with a tease of what's to come. So, did this show actually happen? Or not? I mean, I hope it did, because we got some compelling villains out of it. A cool new take on the 2003 series character Bishop, and a unique new villain called Goldfin. It would be a waste to just act like this never happened, considering how well written they are. This series was helmed by Christopher Yost and Alan Warne, 2 titans of TMNT. The 2 of them have worked on nearly every TMNT series since the early 2000s, and kind of helped craft TMNT in the modern era. Alan worked on the 2012 series, Rise of the TMNT, and even the Batman vs. TMNT film, while Christopher wrote for the 2003 series and the 2012 series. And not to mention, The Mandalorian, The Bad Batch, X-Men Evolution, Wolverine and the X-Men, Iron Man Armored Adventures, Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and 2 of the Thor films. So yeah, I'd say we were given an amazing team to lead this show, and the 2 of them know TMNT so well from their shared experience on working on past versions that it helps give the show that classic TMNT vibe. However, as great as this show is, it doesn't really stand out compared to the other versions of TMNT. While all the other TMNT series have stories that feel large in scale, whether it's literally or just in terms of personal stakes, this show doesn't have that. It's kind of just a side adventure while all the grand storylines happen in the films. Which is a shame because it means that this show will forever be in the shadow of its film counterparts. Hopefully this changes in future seasons. Hey, so I was in the middle of editing this video when the news broke that Nickelodeon and Paramount had cancelled Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Despite rumours that we had heard earlier in the year that the series was being considered to run for 4 seasons annually until the sequel to Mutant Mayhem arrived in 2027. This comes off the heels of the Paramount Skydance merger, which has me really worried for the future of not just this franchise, but the industry as a whole. If you know, you know. Anyway, I just wanted to say a thank you to the cast and crew behind the show and extend my sympathies. You created a great piece of Turtle media, and we're very grateful for it. And I'm sure that the second and now final season of the show will be even better than the first. Okay, back to the original recording. I think this show is a worthy follow-up to Mutant Mayhem, and even improves on certain aspects of it. I wish that Nickelodeon and Paramount did a better job of promoting it, considering how profitable Mutant Mayhem was for them. But what can you do? This show, while not the best TMNT show, deserves more love, as this is one tale I'm glad was told.
The party? We sort of skipped the party. We kind of just want to hang with each other tonight.
Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, heroes in a half shell, turtle power.
Out of everything that was produced following the success of the original Mirage comics, this show has had the most impact on the franchise. The only other contender might be the 1990 movie. While each version of TMNT has taken each generation by storm, this show not only did that first, but launched the franchise into the stratosphere. Without this show, we would not have any of the others. It showed that a story that began as a niche comic by two best friends can become a household name and can resonate with people all over the world. The show also introduced many things that would become essential elements of the franchise going forward, such as the multicolored masks, the distinct personalities of the Turtles, and not to mention several original characters that would return to the franchise years later and become main staples, such as Krang, Bebop, Rocksteady, Slash, Mona Lisa, and the Punk Frogs. There are also some great reoccurring characters that are fun to watch, like April's co-workers at Channel 6, her boss Bern Thompson, her best friend Irma, and her rival and the butt of a lot of jokes, Vernon.
Who cares? I'm Channel 6's new star reporter now.
Looks like you forgot to take the lens cap off, Mr. Star Reporter.
Oh, I don't believe it. All that incredible footage gone.
And some of the more out there concepts that they introduce are really fun and interesting, such as the various mutations that occur and the concept of Dimension X. The voice acting is amazing, and the voice cast for this series is iconic. However, the funny thing is, even though this series is well regarded for its incredible voice cast, the majority of the main voice cast isn't in every episode, and when they're not, it's very noticeable.
Right. He'll be lucky if he can keep his own job.
Hey, it's major fun for us just to be able to walk around without everyone staring.
Out of the voice actors who can be considered main cast, only Cam Clark, who voices Leonardo and Rocksteady, Townsend Coleman, who voices Michelangelo, and Renee Jacobs, who voices April, voiced their respective characters for the show's entire run. The rest of the cast had alternate voice actors for a lot of episodes here and there, but it seems that both Rob Paulson, who voiced Raphael, and James Avery, who voiced Shredder, became increasingly more unavailable as the series went on. As by the end of the series, there had been 4 voice actors voicing Raphael, 5 if you include Turtles Forever, and a staggering 6 voice actors, 8 if you include the 2 crossovers, to voice Shredder. It's never good when you're brought in to replace someone, but these actors did their absolute best to stay true to those actors' original characters. While nothing beats the original cast, I would like to give credit to these voice actors, and some of them sounded extremely close to the original actors. Similar to the inconsistent voice cast, the animation is really inconsistent as well, going from incredible to really weird sometimes, and even the episodes with the best animation have numerous errors. But I'd say the errors sometimes add to the charm of the show. Originally developed as a 5-episode miniseries as a way to promote the toy line, the series became so popular it was renewed and ended up lasting for 10 seasons. Starting out with a blend of action and humour, the series became more and more focused on the humour as it went along. Some of the humour in the show is so well written, and I'd say still holds up. though there are quite a few episodes that rely too much on the humour, I'd say, and repeated gimmicks. There's an episode where Donatello's personality changes and he becomes a superhero to fight crime. An episode where Leonardo's personality changes and he becomes a hero to fight crime, specifically one of the Three Musketeers. An episode where Raphael believes he's dying and decides to spend the remaining time he has fighting crime. And an episode where Irma believes she has powers, so she becomes the superhero to fight crime. These episodes all have their own charm to them, and I especially love the Donatello one. But it's funny to think that the Turtles decide to become heroes and fight crime after their personalities have changed, or in Raphael's case, when he believes he's dying, when they were already crime fighters and heroes to begin with.
Sure, we're heroes in a half shell. Remember the theme song?
May I remind you that you are still crime fighters, and that the streets of this city are still filled with crime.
Shredder and Krang are a ton of fun in this series. They always come up with these outlandish schemes, and when one of them fails, one of them berates the other and they argue like an old married couple.
Well, what's the delay? I've already set up a satellite link to the world's television station so you can deliver your address.
Don't rush me. It's hard to find a decent makeup man here in Dimension X.
You don't need a makeup man, you need a plastic surgeon.
I heard that! Thanks to your bungling mutants, the Turtles have escaped, and they know what we're up to.
That's it, blame everything on me.
I always do.
With Bebop and Rocksteady as their children.
That's the last time I let you sit on my lap and stare.
While a lot of their schemes are great fun, some of them can get quite a bit over the top.
As you can see, the Turtles are no more.
If you ask me, the Turtles are a lot more.
Like the episode where Shredder opens a pizza restaurant in hopes of catching the Turtles.
Tired of a same-old pizza?
Whoa, where have I seen those hands before?
It really shows how far Shredder is willing to go to catch the Turtles, because running a restaurant would not have been cheap. He would have had to buy the kitchen equipment, cleaning equipment, all the boxes, spend a lot of money on marketing, etc, etc. And not only did it cost Shredder a lot of money, he even had his own customers who were regularly buying from him. Why does Shredder even want to rule the world? He does extremely well as a restaurant owner selling pizzas. Or the episode where Krang uses a love potion on the Turtles, causing them to fall in love with Irma.
This potion isn't to frighten them, it's to make them fall in love.
These episodes are dumb, and it makes no sense as to why an intergalactic conqueror like Krang would make a love potion, but it is fun to see Krang just act like a little shit. The version of April O'Neil in this show is basically Lois Lane, and considering that Lois Lane is not only one of the greatest love interests in all of comics and pop culture, but one of the greatest female characters in all of fiction, I'd say that's high praise. Much like many incarnations of Lois, April is always running headfirst into danger, seeking the truth and exposing corruption. This does get her into a lot of trouble and frequently gets her captured and sometimes even mutated by many of the show's villains.
Have those stone warriors nab April O'Neil.
Not a bad idea. Although we've done that at least 30 times before, but hey, who's counting?
Though April is not frequently captured because she's useless or just a damsel in distress. April has her own agency, and she's there so she can help people and bring the truth to light.
I've got the whole arsenal on tape. This'll show the world what a warlord Dreg really is.
While the more light-hearted approach worked extremely well for the series for a period of time, by the start of the 90s, the landscape for animated shows that were action and superhero-based had changed. With the introduction of shows like Batman the Animated Series, X-Men the Animated Series, and Spider-Man the Animated Series, the bar had been raised extremely high, as these shows delivered episodes containing heartbreaking storylines, mature themes, and went to some very dark places. In order to maintain their place in pop culture, the Turtles of this show followed suit, with the final 3 seasons becoming darker in tone and changing the art style. These seasons, dubbed by fans as the Red Sky seasons, were not well received by fans at the time, and still aren't what fans think of when they think of the series. I don't know if this is a hot take, but I actually like these seasons. Now, they're not perfect, and I get where fans are coming from, as it is understandably a tonal whiplash to go from this
Is that really you? I need to grow up! I've been trying to tell you that for years!
to this.
I knew he was bluffing.
I never bluff.
April? Irma? Do you suppose they got out in time? You miserable maggot.
But I said before how repetitive this show had become, so I think the Red Sky seasons was a welcome change. It's also funny to think, the franchise started out as dark and mature with the original comic, then they changed that for this series to be more lighthearted. And then this series went back to being dark and mature. It all went full circle. This show is a classic and holds a special place in animation history. While some episodes can become too over the top at times, and the animation isn't always up to par, they're still really fun to watch. I'd say the main reason that this show works and is so fun to watch is the characters. The Turtles, April, Shredder, Krang, they make the show. If you want to see more of those characters, I highly recommend the TMNT Saturday Morning Adventures comic series. It's a worthy continuation of the series. TMNT 1987 is one shell of a good time, and without it, we wouldn't have TMNT as we know it today.
Let's party.
Now I have a confession to make. Up until recently, I had not seen all of Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
What?
Back when the show was first announced, I was skeptical of it, mainly because it was coming so quick after the end of the 2012 series. I thought that there was definitely not enough of a gap between it and its predecessor, and I think it did ultimately hurt the show a bit, but I'll come back to that. There were some other things I was skeptical about as well, particularly surrounding how Leo would be characterized, but I decided to keep an open mind, and I said I would check out the show when it arrived on DVD. Because when it comes to TMNT, the way I've always been able to watch the shows is the DVDs. It was the case for the 2003 and 2012 series. Though both those shows I was able to watch as they aired on TV. Even the 1987 series, I watched that because of the DVDs they put out after the 25th anniversary. With Rise though, that was not possible. The series was extremely hard to get a hold of. While the first episode was released online for free when it first aired, the rest of the series was not as easy to see, especially here in Australia. Only 2 DVDs were ever released, only one of them was released here in Australia. I did get Nickelodeon, as in Nickelodeon the channel, here at one point, but the show was never on when I checked. The show has never been added to Netflix here, like it has in other countries, and the services where you can watch the show do not have the second season. This is especially weird when it comes to Paramount Plus, a service that is supposed to have all Paramount and Nickelodeon content. After a while, the second season was added to Apple TV, so I decided to purchase the entire series and finally, after all this time, see what it's all about. And I have to say, I absolutely love this show. This show is a brilliant subversion of the classic TMNT formula. As each change they make, they have a story-based reason for, and they explore the potential that arises from those changes extremely well. For example, Raph being the leader instead of Leo. It's not just for the sake of being different to the previous shows. It allows us to get into the heads of both Raph and Leo, showing us their insecurities and fears. In other words, it shows us their flaws. Both Donnie and Mikey are equally as compelling. Like in other iterations, Mikey is very much the glue that holds the family together. But this version takes it to a whole other level.
Well, why do you even care so much about that guy?
He made me. He made us.
Yeah, I know. He's a monster.
But without him, I wouldn't have you. Maybe he didn't make us for the right reasons, but I'm still glad he did. So where is he?
With Donnie, since the show is heavily focused on mysticism, Donnie feels insecure about how his inventions measure up.
Because
I'm the science guy. If mystic powers can do everything I can do, but better, then why would you guys even need me?
Donnie, how could you say that? You aren't important to me because of your tech. You're important to me because of you. I don't think mystic powers is better than science. If anything, they're stronger together, just like us, right?
Right.
Donnie's also by far the funniest in this show, with his dry wit and comedic timing being on point.
Now I'm not gonna get to test my tranquilizer dart.
He's gonna expose us all to New York just for money?
Yeah, we don't have any money and we get by just fine.
Yeah, we are poor as dirt. Well, Leo, since you sell the fewest action figures, why don't you go ahead and jump first?
Dad, are you hurt? Of course I am hurt. We shall miss you, Father. We're free! But at what cost?
Little help over here!
You sure you don't want to join the Mad Dogs? Because I was all set to kick Donnie out.
One of the writers for the show, Ron Concilio, stated that he believes that Rise Donnie is somewhere on the autism spectrum. And I could talk more about that, but great channels have already done fantastic work covering it in their videos, so I highly recommend you check those out. I will say, however, that it is incredible that Donnie is considered to be on the spectrum by the writers, and I truly believe that it adds layers to Donnie as a character. The writers of this series really did incredible work writing multi-layered characters who go through arcs of redemption, recognizing your own self-worth, and realizing you're not alone. They also wrote characters that you could see yourself in and can relate to, and they sought to represent groups who were either not represented or ambiguously represented in prior iterations of TMNT. Like, this is very much the first on-screen version of TMNT to have an overtly gay couple. If I may bring up some issues I did have with the show, it is that sometimes they play up the comedy a bit too much. Like, I really did not like the Pizza Puffs episode, where Leo, Mikey, and Donnie eat poisonous pizza puffs, even after Raph tells them that they are poisonous.
I clearly wrote, danger, do not eat.
Selfish Raph, trying to keep us from eating his pizza puffs.
It makes each of these three come across as extremely arrogant, especially as they keep pressuring Raph to go out and find the solution.
Don't worry, Raph's gonna bail us out like he always does.
While they keep snacking on these things.
No, that was the last one. Okay, that was the last one.
I will also say Leo's characterization took a bit of getting used to, as he is more like 2003 Mikey sometimes.
Of course, that was nothing compared to my unprecedented victory in the Battle Nexus Championship!
The nerve of them treating a Battle Nexus champion that way!
I'm the—
Don't say it! Don't you say it!
Battle Nexus champion!
You know, it really helped me if you guys said that I was your champion.
Though that's not entirely a bad thing. Both exhibit egos, overconfidence, and arrogance that they must learn to overcome, and it helps them both become well-rounded characters. Both of them are also incredibly talented, skilled, and smart fighters, despite being perceived as otherwise. Through this perception, this characterization of Leo really grew on me, and I grew to love and appreciate the work the writers did in crafting his arc. And I gotta say, sometimes Leo rivals Donnie for the title of the funniest character in the show.
Don't you rat us out to the rat.
Snitches get stitches.
Despite the incredible arc that Leo goes through, sometimes his arrogance can get on my nerves, like in the aforementioned Pizza Puffs episode. I think this show is amazing. The writers did an exceptional job of world building with this show and created extensive lore that we should have been allowed to learn more of. This is also, in terms of animation, the best TMNT series. Like, this show is gorgeous. I'm willing to bet it wasn't cheap for it to look this good. Like every other TMNT series, this show introduced great original characters, some deeply complex like Baron Draxum, and others just fun to watch on screen like Warren Stone, Hypnopotamus, Big Mama, and Meat Sweats. Baron Draxum in particular might be one of the most well-developed characters in TMNT in years. Ranking this series above 1987 might be my hottest take yet. But it wasn't an easy choice, and it's a choice I'm not entirely sure I agree with. Some days it's different. One day I might like 1987 more, and the other I might like Rise more. And there might be some recency bias involved, as like I said, I only just watched all of Rise recently. But please don't take this to mean I don't like 1987, I love that show. But on this specific day, I like Rise a little bit more. Rise of the TMNT is a show that took the TMNT property and gave us a new take that we desperately needed. However, the show was let down by Nickelodeon. They didn't distribute it well, with the show not being accessible everywhere, meaning less people saw it, myself included. They released it too soon after the conclusion of the 2012 series, and they also meddled heavily in the production of the series, particularly during the second season, with them initially ordering a full 26 episode second season and then cutting the season in half, giving the writers only 6 weeks to write the final 4 episodes and wrap everything up. Despite this, the writers of the show had laid out plans for a potential third season, and possibly even more seasons beyond that. During this third season, the Turtles would discover that they have a long-lost brother and sister. The writers even planted seeds throughout the second season, with the sister even making secret cameos in a couple of episodes. During this third season, the Turtles and their allies would have split up on separate rescue missions across dimensions in order to find their siblings and bring them home. Unfortunately, the show was taken from us before we could get these storylines. While I would love for nothing more than a third season, I'm extremely grateful for what we got. And who knows, maybe one day we'll get some sort of a continuation, whether that be a comic or another film. With everything going against it, this series still holds a special place in the hearts of its fans. And for good reason. It may have been taken from us too soon, but what it gave us was nothing short of amazing.
You are true heroes. It wouldn't surprise me if someday someone made a movie about you. Oh, and Blue, you are the leader now.
Wait, what?
Like its predecessors, the 2012 TMNT took the world by storm and became the TMNT of a whole new generation. This version of the TMNT started off much like a combination of the original Mirage comics and the 1987 series, and eventually began to draw on elements from other versions as well, such as the original 90s films, the 2003 series, the IDW comics, and there were jokes and nods toward the 2007 film.
Just saying, that sounds more like me. Remember when I wanted to dress up as the Night Watcher vigilante and you talked me out of it?
The 2010s Michael Bay produced films.
No!
And even the next Mutation. Because of this version of TMNT is very much a tribute to the franchise as a whole, and a celebration of it in all its forms. The series was helmed by Ciro Nieli and Brandon Ullman, who understood the assignment when taking it on. Both were TMNT fans, so they knew what worked about past versions and what didn't work, and how they could use that to their advantage when bringing the TMNT to a whole new generation.
We were both big, huge Ninja Turtles fans, growing up. So, we've got we were into the comics mostly. We were probably a little too old for the cartoon, but I remember watching the first, the first run of the cartoon.
When I was developing Ninja Turtles, I sat down and part of the pitch was I presented drawings of what it looked like, and it was kind of easy for me because I had been a fan of Ninja Turtles for so many years. So by the time I was 12 or 13, had a way that I drew Ninja Turtles.
You already had the design down.
I had the design. What I kept doing was going back to the original comics, and there was a rawness to those comics that I really appreciated and wanted to respect.
Despite drawing upon a lot of what had come before, this series is very unique and different from the others, and managed to carve out its own identity separate from its inspirations. It took risks and changed things about TMNT that were previously set in stone, such as making the Krang and Utroms from the same species but from 2 different tribes, deepening the rivalry between Splinter and Shredder by making them adoptive brothers, with Shredder killing Splinter's wife, Tang Shen, and perhaps the biggest change in the dynamic revealing Karai is actually Splinter's daughter, who Shredder stole from him when she was a baby, which just added layers upon layers to their rivalry. However, there is one character who they took risks with that made this one of the most hated versions of the character, that being 2012 April. Firstly, they changed April's age to be more in line with the Turtles, making her a teenager as well, being the first of many incarnations to do so. This change I don't mind and actually kind of like, as this version of April just fits in so well as like another sibling in the family, and works as an adoptive daughter for Splinter. The next change they made was to give April psionic abilities, due to her mother being experimented on by the Krang, turning April into a Jean Grey type of character. She even gets her own Dark Phoenix saga. This change did take some getting used to, though I did eventually get used to it, and really enjoyed the storylines that resulted from it. Much like the 2003 series and the 2007 film, the writers took April on a journey of training with Master Splinter, leading to her being able to defend herself and being a great ally to the Turtles on the battlefield.
Your skills are weak, April. I've had years of training. You talk too much.
This version even fully graduated to the rank of Kunoichi. I truly believe that this isn't the worst version of April, far from it. I believe that her journey of learning more about her heritage, developing and honing her skills as both a ninja and a powerful psychic / telekinetic, and going from someone who needed to be rescued a lot and couldn't keep up with the Turtles, to someone who was almost on par with the Turtles, was very compelling. The thing I don't like about this version of April, and perhaps this show in general, is the love triangle and other relationships that occur. I personally think that Raph and Mona Lisa are the best relationship in the show. I don't know if Mikey and Renette count as a relationship, but they're fun together. Then Leo and Karai had a fun dynamic at first, but once it's revealed that Karai is their sister, it just feels really, really weird.
Took you long enough.
Well, we got tired of waiting for you to escape on your own. Is this a rescue or a romantic comedy? Come on!
I totally get mutants like Karai, but alien lizards?
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, bro.
Whoa, Karai, take it easy. That's why it's called training?
Just because I like you doesn't mean I'm gonna go easy on you, Leo.
Yuck! Ugh.
Yikes! I can't believe Raph has the hots for a big newt.
I know, right? He's got weird taste. Dude, that's your sister!
Then there's the love triangle of Donnie, April, and Casey. It just becomes annoying after a certain point. Donnie's initial crush on April works for his character. He is a teenager, and it is his first crush. It's something that you can't explain how you feel, but it just happens. But it's something you have to learn to move past, and that's great character writing, especially for characters who are meant to be teenagers. And it helps develop Donnie outside of being just the tech guy. I do think it's great character development for him. Like, he has a crush on April, she doesn't feel the same way, he comes to terms with it, and they move on. Now that's what it seemed like they were going to do with Donnie and April.
Do you like it yet?
No, Sensei, not at all.
Then perhaps one cannot make someone like something.
Of course not. No one wants to be... Oh, I get it. You're talking about me and April.
My son, for someone so intelligent, the obvious often eludes you.
And then they do this.
Well, I just wanted to let you know I won't be bothering you with music boxes anymore. I get it now. Donnie is to April as Bigfoot was to Donnie. I'm just a mutant.
You're not just a mutant, Donnie. You're my mutant. Mwah.
I understand nothing.
And then the love triangle just keeps going on and on after that and never gets resolved by the end of the series. That's another thing with this series. There are several plot points that never get resolved by the end of the series. The Squirrelanoids were teased to return at the end of their episode and become a bigger threat for the Turtles, but were reduced to just background cameos. The same goes for Pizza Face, who was teased to return at the end of his episode, but just made a single cameo in the background of another episode. But perhaps the most famous example is Mutagen Man, who Donatello promises to find a cure for.
Don't worry, my friend. One day, I'll find a cure.
And then he becomes a background prop in the lair all the way to the end of the series. The series also has a lot of filler episodes. And while filler episodes in TV shows aren't always bad, particularly in fantasy and superhero shows, where a lot of filler episodes are some of those shows' best. In this series, however, the filler episodes range from being considered some of the show's best, to the show's weakest, to just a silly and fun adventure, or make you say, what the fuck? And even when the filler is good, it does have a negative impact on the arc-heavy storylines, especially the Turtles in Space arc and the Farmhouse arc. Compared to the 2003 series, the Farmhouse arc in that series was only 2 episodes long, and while the Turtles do return to the farmhouse a few more times throughout the series, this arc is contained to these 2 episodes before moving on into the Return to New York arc. In the 2012 series, the Farmhouse arc is much longer than that, lasting for 8 episodes before moving on to the Return to New York arc. The Turtles in Space arc from the 2003 series is 5 episodes long, precise and to the point, with a constant sense of urgency, since the Turtles are desperate to find a way home. In this show, however, it's 14 episodes long, and there does not feel like there's a sense of urgency here at all. And there really should be, especially considering the stakes are a lot higher here compared to the 2003 series. So, unfortunately, the sheer amount of filler episodes in these arcs really drag the arcs out past their natural endpoint, and kill any sort of momentum the show had at the time. However, if I may go back to praising the show again, this show might have the best characterizations of the Turtles and Splinter in any version of TMNT. All their familiar traits are here, but are given even more depth. I know Mutant Mayhem gets a lot of credit for treating the Turtles like teenagers for the first time, but I would argue that this show was the first to do it.
Until I decide I can trust you to watch yourselves, you will remain here, grounded.
Oh yeah, Krognard Marathon.
And no TV!
I love how Leo's desire to be leader comes from his favourite cartoon, and we see him grow into the role, and learn that being leader isn't like the show, and comes with consequences.
Those guys have no idea what kind of pressure I'm under, and all they do is complain. Is it too much to ask for a simple thank you?
Of course it is. Leadership is not about being appreciated. It is about responsibility. It doesn't matter that the burden is heavy. It matters that you carry it.
This is the best version of Splinter. I previously talked about the depth that they gave his rivalry with the Shredder, but I also love how funny he is.
The cheese phone. Truly an emergency. Moshi Moshi. Leonardo, what is the problem? Do not fear, my son. I am on my way.
Splinter's always been a sassy rat before, but this version takes the cake.
Donnie made this mess. How come I have to help?
Allow me to make a suggestion, Raphael.
Suggest what, Sensei? I'm sick of suggestions. What could you possibly suggest?
Perhaps you should sit and meditate for a while.
Raph and Mikey are really compelling here as well. I'll talk more about Raph in the 2003 series section, but I will say one thing I don't like about 2012 Mikey is that they are really inconsistent with his intelligence. There are a lot of episodes where Mikey has figured things out before the others, essentially making him the smartest one in the room. And then there are others where he's dumbed down to the point of him coming across as annoying.
I sprinkled a little mutagen on my skin.
This was a reject batch of retro mutagen, Mikey. It's dangerous!
Well, you could have made it a little more clear. Still not that clear.
And of course, I have to talk about the great original characters that this show created, such as Tiger Claw, Shinigami, Bradford, and of course, Ice Cream Kitty. This version of TMNT is nothing short of a love letter to the entire franchise. It takes inspiration from its predecessors to create some of the most silliest, unique, and emotionally devastating stories the franchise has ever told.
So, what are we gonna do next?
Whatever evil emerges, we'll be ready, because we're awesome!
That's right, Mikey. And we'll do it together. Right, Sensei?
They're like no others. Teenage brothers. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2.
You all probably saw this coming, but for me, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 2003 series, is the best TMNT series ever made. Admittedly, I'm kinda biased, as I grew up with this show. These are my turtles. However, there was a time when this show would not have been number one. During the 2010s, as the 2012 series was airing, I began to prefer that show over this one, and even considered it to be the best TMNT show. However, I went back and rewatched the 2003 series and remembered why I loved it so much as a kid, and why it still holds up. This series was helmed by Lloyd Goldfine, with Chuck Padden directing every episode of Season 1 and 2, and Roy Bodine directing every episode from Seasons 3 through 7. TMNT co-creator Peter Laird was also directly involved with the series. Laird and Goldfine sought to bring the Turtles back to their roots by taking inspiration from the original comics and the first live-action film. Some moments and dialogue are lifted straight from the comics.
Raphael, have you lost your mind? You okay, Mikey? What were you thinking, Raph? Leo. Mikey,
My name is Leonardo, and right now my brothers and I are in a mess of trouble. Our backs are up against the wall in some trash-strewn alley, cornered by the toughest street gang on the east side.
The show isn't a one-to-one recreation of the original comics though. It expands upon the groundwork which was laid in those original stories, and includes more modern takes on the personalities created for the 87 show. Raphael here feels like 1990 movie Raph, with a touch of the sarcastic wit of 1987 Raph.
This is some nice steel. How about telling me who gave them to you?
Your mama.
This show also explores Raph's anger, but we learn it's because of how much he cares for those he loves. And we really get to see a lot of Raph being vulnerable. This is something the 2012 series did as well. Extremely well, if I might add. So I'm glad it's remained a part of his character to this day. Mikey and Leo are portrayed as the most naturally gifted fighters of the team. But with Mikey, since he gets distracted, his true potential is held back, leading to a lot of great episodes where we see Mikey's quick thinking and incredible martial arts skills.
I will destroy you.
He even defeated the Cyber Shredder all by himself.
What have you done? Nothing. That was all you, Shreddy Bear.
Mikey can also let his victories go to his head, leading him to develop as a character and become more humble as the series goes on. In direct parallel to each victory going to Michelangelo's head, each battle lost weighs on Leonardo, with him being prone to depression, leading to his arc in Season 4. After their defeat at the hands of the Shredder in Season 3, the Turtles would have died if it weren't for the Utrons, and Leo struggles with the thoughts that live in his head. He believes he wasn't good enough. He wasn't there to protect the ones he loved, because he was taken out first. He struggles with his self-worth.
I feel like such a complete failure, and no matter how I try to rationalize it, justify it, it always comes down to the fact that I wasn't good enough.
And he becomes increasingly more angry and distant toward his family.
How many times are we gonna get beaten before you guys wise up and realize this isn't a game? When are you going to teach me something I don't already know?
His anger isn't with them though, it's with himself. As a kid, I thought this was an interesting story to tell for Leo, but I didn't think of anything past that. But now as an adult, I relate to it so much. Now, obviously I'm not a mutant turtle, and I don't have trauma from fighting the Shredder, but I have suffered from depression and have struggled with my own self-worth, thinking I'm not good enough to help those around me. So, seeing Leo go through this and become a better brother, better friend, and a better person, well, a better turtle,
hits differently now. I'm getting goosebumps right now. This is crazy. It's the type of writing that makes the characters feel three-dimensional and make them feel real.
I also see this version of Donatello in a new light now as I've gotten older. This version of Donatello goes through so much in this series.
Master Splinter is... No!
You are the last of your kind, Donatello.
You'll just have to extract the information from your oversized terrapin brain.
Despite going through all of that, 2003 Donnie remains incredibly positive and optimistic, and won't give up until he has solved every problem and protected those around him. I think that's a character we can all look up to.
I think it's common for people to not like this show as much as the others due to the final 2 seasons, Fast Forward and Back to the Sewer. In all honesty, I don't hate them. I used to, and it's part of the reason why I preferred the 2012 series for a while, but during that rewatch, I didn't come away from it with any hatred toward those seasons. Now, the art style change isn't good in my opinion, and those seasons do have some of the show's worst episodes, but there are some pretty great episodes in there too, so neither Fast Forward or Back to the Sewer ruined the experience for me. The show has excellent world building, fantastic supporting characters like April and Casey, and great original characters like Bishop, who is one of the coolest characters in the entire franchise. It has the best version of Baxter Stockman and the most intimidating version of the Shredder. It is a show that captured the heart of my generation. It used to air here on mornings before school. I would wake up as early as I could to catch each new episode, and the ones I missed, my dad would use a VHS tape to tape it for me. There would be discussions at school about the Turtles. I specifically remember the episode where the Turtles became Canabo drones being a point of discussion for all the kids. I really wish this show was appreciated more. I'm glad it's getting more respect these days, and is looked back upon as one of the best versions of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
So, who's hungry?
Michelangelo, my sons, whatever you would like, it is on me. All of you, come, let us celebrate together.
Well, that's about it. I want to say thank you to those who have watched till the very end and watched me talk about Ninja Turtles for over an hour. Maybe if you're still here, consider subscribing. I've got a lot of videos planned for not just TMNT, but for a variety of pop culture topics like Ben 10, Scooby-Doo, DC, Marvel, and so on. So consider sticking around. Tell me in the comments what is your favourite version of TMNT. It can be anything, a movie, a show, comic, or whatever. And remember, no matter what version is your favourite, it's as valid as all of the others. The Turtleverse is massive, and every version is welcome.
There's nothing we can't handle together. I love being a turtle!
It's ninja time!